Okay. We are live. We
Hi.
are we are live and direct. Back at it again.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me this evening
Thank
for
you.
a long overdue episode of Swancentric Talks Live. I believe the
Oh
last
yeah.
show, yeah, and
Mhm.
I believe the last show that I gave was for the 4th of July. And today we're bringing back a very special cameo appearance by the one and only Swanee T, co-founder of Swancentric
Hi.
Media. And Swanee's been doing her thing, and I've been kind of holding things down on the Swancentric live front. But Swanee's been working her platform on the back end as well. So thank you for joining me for this
Thank you.
impromptu show. And
It's been a long time.
exactly, but
Yeah.
you've been kind of like in the shadows, doing your thing. But you look like you are in a very tropical place right now, and I believe you're at the beach, right?
I'm yes in this little cafe near the beach, and I go there almost every Saturday morning. That's what I like to do during my weekend.
Okay,
Just sipping on a coffee, and just relaxing, getting ready for next week.
okay. So you're enjoying your coffee right now. What is the weather like?
Today it's cloudy. Surprisingly, it's very cloudy, but it's hot. It's humid. You know, typically for this area. But it's nice today.
Hot and humid. It's
It's
been hot and
nice.
humid here as
Yeah.
well. Looks really nice. Nice background going on there. Now you mentioned next week. We're approaching holiday time right now, and I believe there was some activity going on in Jerusalem. You sent me a photo earlier of a big gathering. Break that down for us really quick.
What I sent you is what's going to happen in a week. It didn't happen yet. Usually, it happens right a month before the high holidays. So the first one is Rosh Hashanah. So usually there's like a month long prayer, and people gather by the Western Wall. So what I sent you is really, how full it's going to be, because this is happening every year like that, and it's going to start next week.
Okay, is my can you hear me a lot clearer? Because I was getting some type of weird noise. I think it cleared up.
No,
Um,
no, I hear you. Yeah.
Actually, I believe it's your audio a little bit. I switched over on my headpiece. Uh,
Okay.
it's like a little something I'm getting there, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it because I'll be doing most of the dialogue. We'll get through it. So you're
Okay.
preparing for the holiday next week
No, the holiday is not next week. The holiday is in a month.
in a month.
It's just the prayers. The prayers are starting in a week.
The prayers.
And yes, yes.
Okay.
Getting ready for the high holidays, basically, with
Abs-
prayers. Yes.
okay. Sounds good. Sounds
You,
good.
yeah.
Um, and I wish I was there to participate in all that, but hopefully I'll be
Mhm.
getting back that way very soon. Um,
Yes.
so thank you for joining me, and then we'll touch. I'm going to talk about tonight's subject, but I also want to get an update on you because you've been kind of um, you've been undergoing a little journey of your own, and we'll talk about that as we close out the show because again you look amazing and it took a lot
Thank
of
you.
hard work and dedication to get there, but we'll talk about that, and let's jump into the subject matter right now. um
Okay.
so tonight's show is about something that I want to really talk about because I'm very passionate about our U.S. Military. I am a veteran myself. I spent many years in the U.S. Navy, and I've made two tours to the Gulf region myself. So I have something of a firsthand understanding of what happens when you're on deployment, especially when you're involved in wartime deployment. I was actually in Desert Storm, and during
Mhm.
the first Gulf War, so I have an idea of what a deployment looks like. The reason why I'm bringing up this topic
Mhm.
is because mainly because it's all over the news right now about some type of disturbance that happened on the USS Abraham Lincoln. And this disturbance is quite disturbing to me. When I heard about it, first was about a service member that had jumped overboard. That was number one, and then number two, about the conditions on board the carrier, the conditions on board as far as food and sanitation and basic living conditions. Now, I'm going to show a couple of clips that talk about that, and then I'm going to give you my take on it. I'm going to give you my take on that, and then and maybe when after I break everything down to you, maybe you can give me some maybe feedback in your opinion on what these clips are all about. Okay, so I'm going to bring.
Yes, yes, I haven't heard about this incident, but yes, I'll be happy
Okay,
to hear.
okay, absolutely. So this is it's all over the media. I'm going to bring up clip number one right now. Here we go.
Okay.
A U.S. Navy ship has been at sea for 200 days straight, and sailors are trying to jump. Here's what we know. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal sent a letter to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other U.S. Navy officials Wednesday expressing concern about the conditions on board the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has been deployed for more than 250 days due to the war in Iran. Around 200 family members of the 5,000 sailors and Marines on board told Navy leaders at a town hall meeting last week that their loved ones had exhibited deteriorated mental and physical health as the ship's conditions worsen after 9 months without returning to land. Reports from Stars and Stripes and the Navy Times, two prominent U.S. military news outlets, say that multiple crew members made attempts to jump overboard. Blumenthal's letter cited numerous reports of shortages of basic supplies, water contamination, plumbing issues, and disruptions in the mail system. Families at the meeting described moldy showers, broken toilets, no hot water for weeks, and meals that came down to half a cup of rice and 2 tortillas, according to California Rep. Mike Levitt. One family member reportedly stated that the ship's own doctor warned they needed to reach port soon or people are going to start losing their minds. The U.S. Navy denied the allegations in a statement to CNN, claiming that they have not observed an increase in suicidal ideations or attempts aboard the ship. Blumenthal wrote that the Defense Department owes the service members on board not only adequate supplies, maintenance, and support during this deployment, but a sustainable force generation model that does not rely on repeatedly extending sailors and ships to meet persistent operational demands.
Clip number two.
Tonight, with growing concerns about deteriorating living conditions aboard the aircraft carrier critical in carrying out strikes against Iran, a U.S. official telling NBC News the USS Abraham Lincoln is now set to sail home after a lengthy deployment. The switch comes amid alarming complaints from service members and their families, including these limited meal portions. And now a U.S. official says one sailor went overboard and was quickly rescued. The ship has not made a port call in 244 days, a record.
It's been difficult. It's longer than she's experienced. Typical deployments have been 6 to 8 months.
Melanie Stowe says her daughter has been aboard the Lincoln since last October.
They had hangar bays that would not close, so they were taking on water into the lower hangars. I know that they've had some issues with some of the plumbing.
Two U.S. officials tell NBC News Joint Chiefs Chairman Dan Kane has warned President Trump and Defense Secretary Hegseth about lengthy deployments and declining morale. Today, Hegseth was asked about conditions aboard the Lincoln.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure that every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. Some deployments are longer than others, and I have more respect and gratitude for those sailors than anybody.
The Lincoln will now head home to San Diego and will be replaced in the Middle East by the USS George Washington, a process that typically takes several weeks. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember...
Okay, so it's funny. I don't know if you were able to really see a lot of that, or hopefully you heard a lot. You heard what was going on.
So I haven't heard. I haven't heard. I saw the images, but I couldn't hear there was no volume for me. I don't know what
Okay,
happened. So
okay.
if you can tell me.
So I'm going.
What
So I'm
you
going to
learned
break it down to you. Absolutely. So, this incident on board the USS this aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln involved number one a sailor who jumped overboard for whatever reason, but he was quickly rescued, and there was also a clip with some parents, well, mothers and parents maybe and spouses out there that are kind of relaying the message from sailors about the conditions on the ships. They're saying that the food is subpar, with with minimal portions.
Hmm.
They're saying that the hygienic conditions on board the ship was poor. They're saying that the showers and the
Right.
plumbing issues are deplorable as well. So all this is in the media right now. So I'm going to give my take on this, and I'm gonna find the chase and cut right to it.
Yes.
No, no,
If I can just ask the question before you start.
yes.
Um, so you said he jumped overboard. So he wanted to jump. I'm trying to understand why he jumped. Like, what is it about exactly that he jumped?
My understanding is this sailor may have been somewhat suicidal. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
can't confirm those reports, but
Okay.
he was attempting to commit suicide because he just really couldn't take it anymore on being
Okay.
on board the ship
The conditions.
in those conditions. Right.
Okay. Okay. Now I
So
understand.
and this is a snapshot. I took a snapshot that was also in the media of the alleged portions that the sailors are being fed. You can see it on the tray, and I've eaten off these trays for years, and these trays are
Mm-hmm.
stacked up with food normally, but these images are only showing a very minimal amount of food from these images, and this is something that was allegedly taken off the carrier USS Lincoln as well as the USS Tripoli, which is an amphibious ship that typically carries Marines. And so these are the meals allegedly being served. Looking at this is not a
I
good
see.
look right here. So let's have a straight conversation. Number one, number one point is this is my and I'm going to speak candidly. I'm going to speak candidly. I'm going to speak from my own experience. I'm going to speak um, about this whole situation. Number one, if in fact that was the situation, sailors on board the ship should not be relaying that type of information to the general public. They should not be reporting that information back to their spouses
Okay.
and relatives. Back in the day, that would have been prohibited,
Right.
and I'm sure whoever reported that, they're being counseled by, the upper chain of command. Number one, because we are engaged in we're engaged in warfare, and I can tell you right now, I've looked at state media outlets, Iranian state outlets, and that's what they're reporting. The outlets are reporting the Iranian outlets are reporting that there was an incident on board that ship that involved these things, and I believe I read an article that said something about 10 service members were killed, which is not confirmed. None of that is confirmed, but that's what the state Iranian state media is reporting. Now, why would they report that? They simply report that for two reasons: to galvanize their population, to say, look, see what we're doing? We're wearing down the U.S. military. See, so we're going to report this
Okay.
and to show that we're winning. We're winning, and their soldiers are they're turning against the chain of command. They which is what we call a mutiny. There's and the worst thing for a service member is a mutiny on board a U.S. United States warship. So that's number.
Right. Right.
So reporting that type of information to the public is detrimental to the wartime effort. So that shouldn't be happening. That's number one. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe one single ounce of what is being reported. I don't believe it. And I'm going to tell you why. I've had the opportunity, not on a carrier, but on a different warship, to travel by sea from San
Okay.
Diego all the way to just like that ship is home based out of San Diego. So I've taken that trip before, and I can tell you along the way that ship is constantly being replenished along the way. When that ship leaves, um,
Mm-hmm.
when that ship leaves port in San Diego, its first stop is Hawaii. It, it takes on supplies in
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii. It takes on supplies and food supplies, medical supplies. It picks up mail and provisions, and it takes off to sea. And it goes across the Indian Ocean. It's along the way. It's making port stops. It's making port stops, or not. It may make a port stop, but if it doesn't make a port stop, it's getting constant deliveries. It's an aircraft carrier. It's getting supplies from other areas to bring supplies to that ship, so
Yes.
that provisions are never running out. The number one prime directive for a warship is to feed the crew. There's an old saying: an army
Mm-hmm.
moves on its stomach. And every commander, every wartime commander, every president, every chief knows that you have to feed your troops, you have to feed your sailors for morale, for energy to fight the wartime effort. So to tell me that they are being fed this, I don't believe it 1 second. I don't believe it. Now looking at this,
Okay.
if they were fed this, it's probably what they call mid rats, which are midnight rations. Midnight rations are for people that work late at night, the midnight shift, and they give them small portions to eat to carry them through the night until breakfast. That's what I believe that is. You know,
I just moved. Sorry.
okay, no problem.
It's okay. Yes,
Yeah,
I am here.
I believe that that's just portions, leftover portions
Mhm.
to feed a handful of workers through the night. What they call them midnight rations, because that wouldn't be enough to feed
Okay.
someone for dinner. But for midnight rations, they will give you the leftover food, and that's what that looks like. That looks like leftover food from the dinner shift to carry over the midnight crew, which is not a
Mm-hmm.
full supplement.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting a 4 course meal at midnight. So that I can't confirm it, but I
Is
can
it
tell
is
you
it
that.
though really a matter of food? Is it? Yeah.
No, no, no.
I'm asking. Is it like really something that was his mental state? I mean, I'm
Okay,
sure the food was one of the factors, but
okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. And that's you made a great point. A sailor, believe it or not, a sailor jumping
So.
overboard, a sailor jumping overboard a ship is not uncommon. When I was on my
Mm,
ship, we there was at least two situations where a sailor jumped overboard trying to get off the ship, and the rescue swimmer had to go back and get him. They go back and get them, and then they go back and get them, and they keep them in an area where they can't harm themselves, and then on the next opportunity they send them back. They send them home. So this may be this sailor's attempt to go
mm,
home. I'm going to jump off the ship. I'm going to play crazy, and I'm going to go home. I've seen it before. It's
okay.
not uncommon. It happens. Now I have to. Now there's another factor to this as well that affects a sailor's psychological well-being. And you know what that is? Sailors that have
No.
significant others like spouses and girlfriends. This
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
warship has been out for 250 over 200 almost 250 days. That's 9 months. The ship left
Yes.
in October of last year. And what's happening is they are on board this ship, and they are in a whole different world. When you're on this ship, you're in a whole different world. You're basically cut off from the outside world. What happens is, if you're in, well,
Yes.
you know what? It's like a long distance relationship, as you and I know, we're very familiar with. So it's when a
Mm,
sailor is
mm-hmm.
well, yeah, when
Yes.
a sailor is on a ship and they've been gone for 9 months, what happens is their significant others, they're worried about their significant others moving on and meeting other people. They may have a conversation.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
they may have a conversation with their significant other. Their significant other or girlfriend could be going out partying and doing, because their life continues. Your life is at a standstill as a sailor because your job is to be a part of
Hmm.
this wartime effort. They're living their life like normal. They're going out with their friends. They're going to school. They're working their jobs. It's like an ordinary life. And the thing about it is,
Hmm.
life happens. Life happens in whatever degree it happens in. A lot of sailors get
Yeah.
divorced. A lot of their wives meet other people. A lot of their girlfriends
Mm,
meet other people, and that will affect your psyche, big time. So I wouldn't be surprised if
hmm.
that sailor jumped overboard because he's trying to get back to his significant other.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah, or just missing them to the point where sometimes you're in despair. Of course, life continues on the other side, but sometimes the distance make people just miss them to a certain
Right,
point where sometimes you don't see a solution to that.
right. And I've seen that. I've seen it too many times
Yeah.
being on deployments myself. How the psychological aspect of being out to sea affects the sailor. Um, but do I believe that that the conditions on that ship are deplorable? I don't. No, I don't, because I can tell you this: the reports of plumbing. All warships have plumbing problems. That's why we have plumbers on board the ship. There's a
Yes.
whole group of people on the ship. They work below deck, down in the bowels of the ship. They call the engineering department, and all they do is unclog toilets. So that's why of course you're going to have
Right.
plugged uh, plumbing issues, but that's why you have people on board to take care of that.
Hmm.
So that's very common. Mold reports of
Yes.
mold and mildew in the shower. Guess what? That's due to lack of cleaning. We have people, we call them bosun's
Mm,
mates. They're the bosun's mates, and their job is their job is to clean the ship. So someone's not cleaning the
okay.
ship, someone's not cleaning the showers. That's not a
Okay.
deplorable condition. That's someone not cleaning the shower. So
Hmm.
all these statements that are being made for this warship is across the board, and it's just regular business from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything in the Secretary of War kind of iterated that everything was fine.
Hmm.
It's just what I think it is. I think it's propaganda. I think it's propaganda to end the war. I think that if you create this type of scenario where you think that all this is happening on this warship, of course you're going to get your lawmakers involved, and
Yeah.
there will be this rapid push to
I
bring
see.
this thing to a close. But I do not believe what's happening on this warship is going on. No, I want to share one more image. I want to share one
Hmm.
more image of this situation, and it's going to be of the Strait of Hormuz. So I don't think you can see my arrow here, but if you and your phone is going to be really small, but I'm going to just describe this image. Um, on the right of the screen is the Gulf of Oman. Uh, you won't be able to see my arrow, but the Gulf of Oman is to the right, and that's where the carrier is stationed. Was stationed. Okay. On the very
Right.
left of the
Okay.
picture, on the very left of the picture, you see Bahrain. You see the country of Bahrain. You see Qatar. You see United Arab Emirates, and you see Dubai. So there's four
Right.
countries there.
Hmm.
Those four countries will supply that carrier with provisions. Uh, Bahrain has a U.S. base. Qatar is a U.S.
Right.
ally. U.S. Arab Emirates is an ally. Dubai, ships pull into Dubai all the time. They can replenish in Dubai. Now they don't have to take the Strait of Hormuz to receive the provisions. Those provisions are flown out by plane and delivered to the carrier. So just and of course, the president would never let the sailors starve on the ship. He would pull money. Trust me, he would pull money from the welfare recipients before he would let those sailors go hungry.
Right.
So there's,
Of course not.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
I mean,
So there
yeah.
are 4 countries right there that are more than capable of supplying that carrier, so that sailors do not have to go hungry. So that's why it's just hard for me to believe
Hmm.
that that's the situation. Just wanted to share that.
I mean, these conditions are the same. Thank you for giving us your also your experience, your personal experience. But I'm wondering these conditions, because you said it could be a propaganda to stop the war, but these conditions are the same as when there's no war. It's the same conditions. They give them the same kind of food, and they have the same rules, and they clean the same way
Right.
during war and during no war. So it has nothing to do with the war right now. It has just to do with probably this person mental state, what he was going through at the
Right.
moment. Maybe yes, the war is intensifying. All of this because naturally when you know that you're in this period, of time of you don't know what's going to be. Are you going into war? Are you not going to war? It has a lot of stress and pressure probably on a lot of people and a lot of soldiers.
It's hard.
The unknown. So yes, it's very hard, and I mean I cannot share that much, but I am the mom of 2 soldiers. The conditions there, and thank God they're doing okay. They're eating and they're thriving. Is the food like at a 5-star hotel? No, it's not. But they eat enough and they have all their whatever they need, protein and carbs and water and everything that they need to be functioning
Right.
and active because they
Right.
spend a lot of energy. Um, that's regarding the food, but I think that especially in a ship, okay, I don't know what it is like, but I assume that in a ship it's like a small town.
Right.
A
It
ship
is.
becomes something very like closed,
Yes.
very you know um and it's really a small town, so you're going to have social rules there. You're going to have
Right.
um kind of like your own little world in this
Right.
ship.
You're right. Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so I'm sure like things are happening within that little
It's
uh,
like a city. It's a city.
world, and it's a city.
Right.
It's a city, and and things are happening there that we are not all aware of it. And I think it goes a lot beyond the food and the conditions.
Right. No, I
So
agree. I
my
agree.
heart really goes out to all the soldiers having a hard time. Sometimes it's hard, being in this kind of like small
Right.
space where you have to listen to all the rules and bend to everything that you are told to. Um, and I'm a mom of 2 soldiers. I understand. I understand it's not easy to be away from your family and from your loved ones and from your regular life, and thinking maybe sometimes, hey, I could be doing something else right now. I could be, advancing my career, being, and it's not easy. It's not easy mentally. It's not easy as well. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Um, if anything more comes out of this, I'm happy to report on it. But I really don't think that it should be um, that spouses and parents should be reporting on third hand, second hand information. Um, of conditions that they really do not know anything, about, or it's not really verified. So I'm just very leery about what's actually happening on that ship. Now, fortunately,
Yes.
well, the thing about it, fortunately, because of this publicity, the ship is headed back to San Diego now, and relief is on the way. So maybe that was like the whole thing.
Okay.
We're getting all this
Okay.
negative attention. Let's turn around and head back, and relief is on the way. But I
Mm-hmm.
had to give my take on it because it was just unbelievable to me to hear that type of stuff when look, the Navy personnel are some of the best fed, even more so than the Army,
Mm-hmm.
or Marines. I mean, we're talking about steak and lobster at times. Barbecues
Okay.
on, we have what they call steel beach barbecues, where they set up big barbecue grills on the flight deck and cook nothing but burgers, and it's unlimited burgers. It's burgers until you can't eat any more burgers, and steaks. So
Mm.
and those
Okay.
products, yeah, and those products are flown in from countries around the world. They're not packed in. We don't pack that stuff in the United States and then ship it off. We pick up the steaks and provisions in other countries. So that's why it's really hard for me to.
Locally.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that's my take on it. On that, and I just had to give my 2 cents on it. So, with that being said, if anyone has any comments on what I said about that, again, I speak from my own experience. But drop something in the comment if you would like to say something otherwise to what I just said regarding what's actually happening on that ship, because I've seen a lot of commentary about people saying, well, don't let your children join the military because of this, and that's not a good reason to. That's inappropriate to say.
Mm.
You know, um, Speaking for myself, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know where I would be right now. I probably would not be sitting here right now if I hadn't joined the military. So the military literally saved my life. So hearing people say that, um,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
I disagree with it.
I think it's different in America. I think in America it's voluntary. First of all, if you want to join the Navy, it's because, or the Army, it's because you wanted
Right.
to, right?
Correct.
And you're 18, so therefore you have free
Well, it
choice.
was it was either that.
In other countries, it's not.
Well,
Hmm.
I was going to say it was either
Yeah.
that or be a drug dealer, and I didn't want to do that.
Okay. So that was a
Yeah.
good choice
Yeah.
for you. But I'm saying in general, in most of the countries, it's voluntary. If you want to join the army, it's because you want
Right.
to. Because you look at all your options and you said, "This is what I want to do. This is what's good for me today, right now.
Right.
This is what I'm choosing." Right. So it's not really like nobody forced you, or I'm not talking about you in particular, but people, okay, to do that. In some other countries, it's mandatory,
Correct.
okay, and you really don't have a say about it. So it's to say, oh, so don't let your kid, join the army. They want to. That's the path that they chose. Unfortunately, along the way things happen, and that's understandable.
Right.
But yeah, these kind of comments, they don't make
They
sense to
do
me.
not. They do not. So, Swan, we're going to shift gears before we close down this live stream. But I wanted to bring you on because it's been a while since you've been on. I think the last time you were actually on it was Christmas or New Year's. So it's been a while. But around the top of this year, 2026, you started a journey of sorts. Break it down for us.
Yes. Well, it started really in November, so it's been almost a year.
Okay.
Okay, I think something like 10 months now. And I've started really eating better and exercising, and a really more being more serious on my weight loss journey. I even started to do a series on a sleep apnea, and how to live with it, and how to deal with that. And it's highly connected with uh, um, being overweight, basically, sleep
Correct. Correct.
apnea. And I had this moment where I was saying, why are you talking about sleep apnea and dealing with this? Why are you not just dealing with the real problem, which is the weight gain, which is basically lose the weight, and you can, finally get rid of this issue that you have.
Right.
So I really took it seriously, and it's been 10 months now, and I lost in kilos. That's 17 kilos and a half. I think it's about 38 pounds,
That's significant.
and it's significant because I feel so much better, health wise. I still need to do another sleep study and check if things changed, but I do feel a change in my sleep um, uh, rhythm, in my schedule also, and it's been a good change for me.
So my question,
It's been a good change.
so my next question is, let's talk a little bit about your diet. How'd you make it? How'd you make it all come together?
Yes. I started with something called intermittent fasting, which is not eating before 12 o'clock, something like that, and then finishing to eat um, max until 7 p.m. So I had like a window of like something like 7 hours during the day.
Okay.
And basically, it was mostly protein, vegetables, little bit of fruits,
Okay.
and gradually I started putting eating again some carbs, a little bit of bread, whole wheat bread, and sometimes sweet potatoes, and sometimes a potato. Um, but mainly the first 6 months, I was very serious about no
No carbs.
carbs, no carbs at all. Very, yes, yes,
Okay. Okay.
and no sugar, no
Okay.
sweets, no more ice cream.
Okay. Which is your favorite?
But yeah,
Okay.
it is, and moving all the time, walking a lot. I also work in a job where I'm very active.
You do a
So
lot of
after
walking.
every meal, I walk off. I do a lot of walking. I do
Okay.
a lot of walking, and I work at night as well. So I also do my walking during the night.
Nice.
So um, it's like nonstop walking. But um,
Okay.
I think it just came off. It just came off because I was very consistent, very patient too. Sometimes I had weeks where nothing was moving, and it was very like a
Okay.
plateau, not moving, very frustrating. But I didn't give up this time, because normally I would be like, okay, nothing is happening. I'm just gonna go back to my regular, eating chocolates and burgers
Right.
and other things that I like.
Right.
And this time I said, no, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm not gonna give up this time.
Now,
And thank God it's proving to be working.
now, I have to say that your mom prepares some very robust meals, very um, meals that are big and
Yes,
heavy. That you've actually had to exercise portion control with those meals, especially the
portion
couscous.
control. Yes,
Right. So explain to the audience what
I
couscous
just
is.
serve myself.
Okay. Explain to everyone what couscous
Couscous
is.
is a grain.
Okay.
Couscous is a grain. It's a kind of like borgol, if you know what borgol means, or it has like consistency of yeah, like quinoa, but a little more like I don't know how to explain exactly,
But the
but
different the uh-huh.
semolina. Uh, and then you just add, the sauce with the chicken or the meat, with beans or other different kind of sauces that we have for each couscous.
And
Um,
these are typically
and
heavy
I just
meals, correct?
instead of having my mom serve me, I would serve myself.
Right.
It's heavy because you can have like a full plate, or you can have like a, you can still have all the things that you enjoy, but just a little bit less.
So portion
of
control
course,
is the
it's
key,
enough for you.
and
Portion
portion
control
control
is
is
the
the
key.
key.
Yes. Yes,
Understood.
I think it is. Uh,
Well, you look great,
oh,
and
thank you.
your hard work has paid off, and continues to
Thank
pay off,
you.
and hopefully we'll have you stateside pretty soon, so we can tempt you with some burgers.
Maybe. Maybe we might hit another country where it's basically all you eat is pizza and pasta.
Oh wow,
That might be
that sounds like a
the next place, and that will be a different kind of challenge because I know that I will have to have at least one of each, definitely. So,
hear that
but that's
audience.
okay. You can have things that you enjoy.
Hear that audience. It sounds like Italy may be on the schedule coming up soon.
Italy is definitely on the
There are some
schedule because we
surprises.
have very good news very soon.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. There are some
Yes, very, very
surprises
good news very
happening in
soon
Italy.
over there.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, I'm going to
Yes.
go ahead and close out.
But I also plan.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You go ahead.
I just wanted to say regarding the weight loss, I am on Swan Times on Instagram and TikTok and on YouTube. I plan to explain a little bit more about that journey and what you go through. Sometimes, when you go as a woman, I think it's may be different when you go through also pregnancies, and in my case, I had C-sections as well. So it's a lot. It's difficult to lose that weight, and I plan to share that and explain exactly how I do it. But you're also going through your own journey,
I am. I am. I wasn't going to talk about that, but I am. Maybe
which is
I'll do a
wonderful,
follow up
and
show on
it's
that.
also all right.
Yeah, basically, my life just evolves around chicken, fish, and broccoli. That's my life right now for the
Yes.
past 7 weeks. So but I'm getting through it, and abstaining from alcohol and all that, really alcohol, sugar, and carbs myself. So
Wow.
we're in the same boat. I'll put you that way. We're in the
That's
same boat.
great.
So with that being said, let me ask you one more question before I let you go. Um, Anything on the horizon regarding publishing any of your cooking materials? Because I know that you at one point you had an entire portfolio catalog of meals, gourmet meals, by the way, that you prepare. Anything on the horizon in the near future regarding
But
re-energizing
publishing,
that?
no,
No.
not about publishing. Probably going back into making some videos.
Okay. Okay.
I think things have changed for me in terms of my environment as well. Also, with my job, I don't have as much
Mm.
time to do all these
Oh,
meals and cooking. Also, the heavy meals that I used to do. So things have changed for me.
okay.
So I haven't had the opportunity to do these videos,
I see.
but I plan gradually to get back to it.
Okay. Okay.
Again, I think it's going to be more of a sharing, more of a weight loss and maintaining the weight loss kind of thing. Going back and into those videos, doing that. But yep.
Well, let me
So
send
I'm
a
still
plug out.
cooking
Whoever makes.
sometimes, but not as much.
Well, I'm going to put a plug out. Those who may come across this video, if you have the opportunities, Swanee T is an excellent cook. She's an excellent cook, and her meals are gourmet level. So if you want some, and you prepare a various variety of foods, everything from spaghetti to chicken, beef, all these different Mediterranean.
Yes.
If you're looking for a good Mediterranean um, um, a menu of foods. Reach out, and maybe Swanee can give you some tips.
Yes, I can give you
Yeah.
tips. I can
Or,
give
or,
you
or, or
tips.
if you're looking for a chef for your restaurant, Mediterranean restaurant, but you got to pay her some bucks
Uh,
to do that. So with that being said,
All right.
we're gonna close it out and Swanee, stay on the line. Well, actually, I'm gonna call you back on the alternate line to tap in with you after we end this live. So Swanee,
Okay.
thank you so much for the cameo appearance tonight. Swancentric Media
Yes,
was named
it was
after you,
great.
so having the founder on is always a beautiful thing. So thank you for dropping in and just letting everyone know that you're still around, still alive and kicking. So thank you so much.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Let's close this
Thank
show
you.
out.
Thank
Then
you
I'll
for
then I'll
having me.
tap in with you on the back end.
All right.
Okay, let's close this out. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Have a
Until
good
next
evening,
to the next
everyone.
show. See you soon.
Bye.